Hello and welcome to W.A.T. News. It is June 5th, 2025, your daily AI-powered roundup of today's most relevant headlines. Faster, smarter, and always on point.
W.A.T. News.
In cybersecurity news, at the InsomniHack 2025 Capture the Flag CTF event, participants analyzed a malware sample derived from a real digital forensics and incident response DFIR case from January 2024. The malware's final payloads were neutralized to ensure safe examination. Analysis tools such as PEID and PStudio identified the binary as a no-soft installer. Notably, this instance marked the first observation of a GU loader sample utilizing the Call Window Proc A API for callbacks, deviating from its typical use of enum resource types or Call Window Proc W. This technique represents an evolution in malware strategies, aiming to evade detection and facilitate fileless attacks by exploiting API callbacks. Rick Orloff, the Chief Information Security Officer at Pure Storage, brings over 2 decades of experience in cybersecurity, having held leadership roles at companies like Apple. He emphasizes the importance of aligning cybersecurity strategies with business objectives and advocates for clear communication between CISOs and board members to ensure a comprehensive understanding of security risks. Orloff underscores the critical role of identity and access management, stating that many breaches stem from poorly governed identities. He cautions against over-reliance on security tools without proper operational integration, highlighting that investments in technologies like SIEM can become ineffective if not properly managed. Furthermore, he advises organizations to focus on risk mitigation and business continuity rather than merely achieving compliance, as being compliant does not necessarily equate to being secure. In his article, Anton Chuvakin critiques the current state of security operations centers, SOCs, portraying them as outdated and overwhelmed by ineffective processes. He describes SOCs as inundated with meaningless alerts and reliant on obsolete playbooks, leading to a sense of futility among analysts. Chuvakin argues that traditional SOC models, often rooted in legacy Network Operations Center (NOC) frameworks, are ill-equipped to handle modern cybersecurity threats. While acknowledging that incremental improvements and the application of artificial intelligence can offer some relief, he contends that these measures are insufficient for meaningful transformation. Chuvakin advocates for a radical shift towards models like autonomic security operations, ASO, or SOC-less architectures, which emphasize automation and engineering-led approaches to detection and response. In technology news, in May 2025, Tesla experienced its 5th consecutive month of declining sales in key European markets. Sales dropped by over 45% in the UK, 36.2% in Germany, and 20% in Italy, despite overall growth in electric vehicle (EV) sales in these regions. Factors contributing to this downturn include increased competition from Chinese automakers like BYD and political backlash related to CEO Elon Musk's activities. In contrast, Norway saw a 213% year-over-year increase in Tesla sales, attributed to the introduction of the refreshed Model Y and incentives like interest-free loans. Tesla anticipates that the broader rollout of the updated Model Y across Europe in June will help reverse the declining sales trend. Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai recently addressed concerns about artificial intelligence, AI, leading to job losses. He emphasized that AI acts as an accelerator enhancing productivity and creating new job opportunities rather than eliminating existing ones. Pichai highlighted Alphabet's commitment to responsible AI development, particularly in sectors like healthcare, education, and climate science. He also discussed the company's expansion plans, including continued hiring of engineers through at least 2026 and strategic investments in AI and machine learning technologies. Pichai's remarks aim to reassure stakeholders that AI advancements will complement human labor and drive innovation. The Nintendo Switch 2 officially launches this week, and while pre-orders quickly sold out, retailers like Best Buy, Walmart, and GameStop will have limited in-store stock available starting June 5th. The upgraded console features a 1080p display for handheld play and 4K output for TV mode, alongside expanded 256GB storage and a custom NVIDIA GPU. One major change stirring discussion is Nintendo's updated terms and conditions, which clarify that buyers only purchase a license to use the hardware in games. Nintendo reserves the right to remotely disable any system found to have unauthorized modifications. Additionally, physical game cartridges no longer contain full games, but instead serve as license keys for digital downloads, raising concerns for players in areas with slow internet. Despite these shifts, demand for the Switch 2 remains high, especially with the debut of exclusive titles like Mario Kart World. Gamers are advised to check with local stores for availability and prepare for long lines on launch day. In politics news, New York Democrat Hakeem Jeffries has agreed with Elon Musk's criticism of President Trump's domestic policy bill during a conversation with CBS Evening News Maurice Dubois. Jeffries stated, "What Elon Musk said is the stone-cold reality." Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, had earlier expressed his reservations about the cost of the bill in an interview with CBS Sunday Morning correspondent David Pogue. The specifics of Musk's concerns, however, were not detailed in the report. Jeffries' comments are in line with Musk's stance, adding to the continuing discourse about this policy bill. Several former members of President Joe Biden's administration and campaign team are running for Congress in the 2022 midterm elections, aiming to leverage their experience and connections. Notable candidates include John McCarthy in Virginia's 10th District, Ali Zaidi in New York's 10th District, and Matt Hildreth in Iowa's 1st District. These individuals believe their familiarity with the Biden administration will help them address issues important to potential constituents. However, the trend of former staffers running for office does not necessarily predict election outcomes, as each race has unique dynamics. The involvement of former Biden staffers in the upcoming midterms reflects the administration's influence and reach. In the book Original Sin, President Biden's Decline, Its Cover-Up, and His Disastrous Choice to Run Again, authors Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson delve into concerns about President Joe Biden's cognitive health during his presidency, drawing from interviews with over 200 individuals, primarily Democrats, including cabinet members, administration officials, and members of Congress. The book presents accounts suggesting noticeable signs of decline. One poignant example is recounted by Representative Mike Quigley of Illinois, who observed President Biden appearing fatigued and disoriented during a 2023 trip to Ireland, reminiscent of Quigley's own father's struggles with Parkinson's disease. Despite these observations, President Biden has publicly refuted claims of cognitive deterioration, asserting there is no evidence to support such allegations. The book raises critical questions about transparency within the administration and the decision-making processes leading up to President Biden's re-election campaign. Let's head over to George for the remaining top stories. George, over to you.
Thanks, Heather. Hello, everyone. Let's dive into the remaining top stories. In business news, the latest season of Dimension 20, titled Cloudward Ho, marks a new chapter in the popular actual play tabletop role-playing series produced by college humor streaming service Dropout. This season introduces viewers to a world of sky pirates, navigating floating islands aboard the skyship The Unending Horizon. The narrative promises a blend of high-flying adventure, encounters with sky monsters, and clashes with rival pirate factions. Dimension 20 is renowned for its improvisational storytelling, combining humor with emotionally resonant narratives. Cloudward Ho continues this tradition, offering a fresh setting that expands the show's imaginative universe. Fans can anticipate the series' signature mix of comedic interplay and heartfelt character development in this airborne escapade. Ballerina, the latest installment in the John Wick franchise, stars Ana de Armas as the titular assassin seeking vengeance for her family's death. Set between the events of John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and Chapter 4, the film delves into the protagonist's training under the Ruska Roma and her subsequent quest for retribution. Critics have responded favorably, with the film holding a 75% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 55 reviews. The movie features appearances by franchise regulars, including Keanu Reeves, Ian McShane, and the late Lance Reddick in his final role. Directed by Len Wiseman, Ballerina is poised for a strong box office debut, with projections estimating a $28 to $30 million opening weekend across 3,400 theaters. The film's blend of intense action sequences and character-driven storytelling has resonated with both fans and newcomers to the series. The CNBC Daily Open report underscores the impact of political dynamics on financial markets, particularly focusing on the escalating tensions between President Trump and Elon Musk. Musk's public denouncement of the One Big Beautiful Bill as fiscally irresponsible has led to significant market reactions, including a notable decline in Tesla's stock value. The feud has intensified, with Musk calling for Trump's impeachment and alleging connections to controversial figures, while Trump has threatened to revoke federal contracts with Musk's companies. These developments have introduced uncertainty into the markets, with investors closely monitoring the situation for potential implications on economic policy and corporate interests. The report highlights the delicate interplay between political discourse and market stability, emphasizing the need for careful navigation during periods of heightened political friction. In entertainment news, Academy Award-winning actress Angelica Houston has taken on a new role as the director, the head of the Ruska Roma syndicate in the Wickiverse. Houston, a third-generation Oscar winner, boasts a rich filmography with notable performances in Prizzy's Honor and The Addams Family, where she captivated audiences as the eerily charismatic Morticia Addams. The Guardian recently published an article ranking Houston's top 10 performances, celebrating her versatile acting skills. The piece also suggests that Houston deserved another Oscar for her remarkable portrayal of the Grand High Witch, a character with a distinctive German accent in Nicholas Roeg's adaptation of Roald Dahl's children's horror comedy. The highly anticipated film, Wicked for Good, has released a new trailer, showcasing the tension between Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba and Ariana Grande's Glinda, as they strive for justice in Oz. Jeff Goldblum graces the screen as the wonderful Wizard of Oz, alongside Michelle Yeoh, who stars as Madame Morrible. The movie also features Jonathan Bailey in his role as Fiyero, Marissa Bodie as Nessarose, and Ethan Slater as Bach. This film aims to offer a fresh perspective on the beloved Oz narrative by delving into the intricacies of its iconic characters. on the 21st day of Sean Diddy Combs's federal trial for sex trafficking and racketeering. The court heard testimony from a third accuser, referred to as Jane. She alleged that Combs coerced her into drug-fueled sexual encounters and exerted control over various aspects of her life. Additionally, witness Brianna Bongolan testified that Combs once dangled her over a high-rise balcony, an accusation his defense team contested. The judge admonished Combs for attempting to influence the jury by nodding at them during testimony, warning that such behavior could lead to his removal from the courtroom. The trial, now in its fourth week, has featured over 16 witnesses, including artists and former associates, shedding light on the alleged criminal enterprise Combs is accused of leading since 2004. In world news, Senator Sarah Hanson-Young of the Greens has urged her ex-colleague, Senator Dorinda Cox, to step down from the federal parliament after her departure from the Greens. Senator Cox, having recently left the party, expressed that her principles are more in line with the current government's. She also criticized the Labour Party for their hypocrisy in welcoming her. Senator Hanson-Young suggested that the most honorable action for Senator Cox would be to resign from Parliament. The Greens have ceased their internal inquiry into Senator Cox, stating they no longer have jurisdiction or the capacity to impose sanctions, as she is no longer a party member. Vietnam has officially ended its two-child policy, a regulation introduced in 2009 to curb population growth. The shift comes as the country grapples with a declining birth rate and a rapidly aging population. Lawmakers now grant families the freedom to choose how many children they wish to have, part of a broader effort to promote demographic balance and sustainable development. The Ministry of Health reported that Vietnam's population has surpassed 100 million, with roughly 70% in the working age bracket. While some demographic data remain unclear, such as a possibly misreported median age, the intent behind the policy shift is evident. Officials hope this change will bolster the labor force and ease future economic pressures tied to population aging. The move signals a major change in Vietnam's population planning strategy, aligning with trends seen in other East Asian nations. On the eve of Eid al-Adha, Israel launched airstrikes on southern Beirut, targeting what it claimed was a Hezbollah drone production facility. The Israeli military stated that the underground unit was producing thousands of drones with Iranian support. The strikes occurred despite a standing ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon, prompting sharp condemnation from Lebanese leaders. Prime Minister Nawaf Salam called the attack a systematic and deliberate violation of Lebanon's sovereignty and stability, especially during a major religious and tourist season. Thousands of residents were forced to evacuate before the strikes, leading to traffic chaos in the Dahia district. Israel defended its actions by citing Hezbollah's increased drone activity as a security threat. There has been no immediate comment from Hezbollah, and tensions in the region remain high as international observers express concern over the fragile ceasefire.
W.A.T. News.
That's your full briefing for today from W.A.T. News. Here's a quick recap of today's top stories. At InsomniHack 2025, cybersecurity experts uncovered a novel malware technique using call window proc A to bypass detection in fileless attacks. Nintendo's highly anticipated Switch 2 launches this week with limited in-store stock and major changes to game licensing and system access. In the new book, Original Sin, sources detail internal concerns about President Biden's cognitive health during his presidency and re-election campaign. Ballerina, the newest chapter in the John Wick franchise starring Ana de Armas, debuts with strong early reviews and box office projections. On the eve of Eid al-Adha, Israel conducted airstrikes on southern Beirut, targeting alleged Hezbollah drone facilities, escalating regional tensions.
W.A.T. News.
If you found this briefing helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a headline. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and stay curious.